morning, students. Our fourth chapter name is air pressure. Here given one activity. How do you try to activity that show air has a weight? Given a page number 16 of your science textbook. That means this activity related to your science textbook. During this activity, you saw the balance tipped on the side of the full blown balloons. This show that the air has a weight. That means in your science textbook page number 16 there were the show the activity of the air has a weight. Anything that has weight exert pressure on the things that lies below it. Thus the air in the atmosphere exert pressure on the surface of the earth due to this air pressure. Various phenomena like storm, precipitations, etc. occurs on the atmosphere. There are variation in air pressure. That means the anything that have weight exert pressure on things that lies below it, and thus the air in the atmosphere exert pressure on the surface of the earth, and that's due to the air pressure. Various phenomena as like a storm, precipitation, etc. which is the occurs in the atmosphere, and there are variation in the air pressure. The air pressure is not uniform on all places on the earth surface. That means the pressure are not same to any place. Air pressure keep on changing from time to time. That means this air pressure change time to time. The outline of the region, temperature of the air, the amount of the water vapor in air are some factors influencing air pressure. That means the altitude of any regions, as like a temperature of the air, the amount of water vapor in the air are some factors which influencing air pressure. Next point, altitude of the region and air pressure. That means altitude of this region and the air pressure. The proportion of dust in the air, water vapor, heavy gases, etc. higher in the air closer to surface of the earth. That means these factors, which factors? The dust of the air, water vapors, heavy gases, which is the factor in the air closer to the earth surface. That means the earth surface closes these factors. That means the water vapor, heavy gases, air, dust of air, water vapor, heavy gases, etc. This proportion decreases with the increased altitude. That means this proportion of decreases at that time the increase in altitude. That means at that time this factor is decreasing or less. At that time automatically altitude is increases as one move higher and higher from the surface of the earth, and they moves to higher and higher to the surface. That means on the surface there moves to higher and higher. As a result, the air pressure decreases with the increasing altitude. That means at that time the air pressure is decreases, and at that time the altitude increases, and altitude is increases at that time pressure is automatically decreases, and altitude is decreases at that time pressure is increases. Here given a one activity. Take a flying lantern, tie the approximately 5 meter long and thread to the flying lantern so that you can bring the lantern down whenever required. That means fourth, after carefully reading the instruction given on the package of this lantern, open it and light the candle placed in it. Observe what happens. These two activity given on this page number 16, the experiment of flying lantern, and here some student and one teacher showing this picture, and these students doing this experiment on this. Then did the flying lantern start ascending immediately after the candle was lit? What would you have happened to flying lantern had the candle got extinguished after the lantern has gone up the air? Geographical explanation. The air in the flying lantern get heated once the candle is lit. That means the air in the flying lantern get heated. That means this lantern get heated at that time. Candle it lit. The hot air expand, become higher, become higher, become lighter, and start move up. That means at that time this lantern is heated, and once the candle is lit, at that time hot air is expansion or expanding and become lighter. That means this hot air weight is lighter and start moving, and at that time this lighter air is lighter and start the moving one place to another place. There the lantern is also lifted up toward the sky, and that at that time this lantern is lifted or shifted upward to the sky. That means they shifted up and up toward the sky. In nature too, the similar phenomena occurs at that time, as like this experiment in our environment. The similar phenomena occurs in our nature. The similar phenomena occurs. Temperature and air pressure are closely related. That means these two factors, first is the temperature and second is the air pressure, these are closely related to each other. Whenever the temperature is high, the air pressure is low. That means at that time the temperature is high, that time air pressure is low. That means any time air pressure is high, at that time temperature is low. At the temperature rises, the air get heated. That means the temperature is rising. Temperature वाढल्यानंतर काय होणार आहे? Air get heated. At that time air is heated, expand and become lighter, and at that time the temperature rises, the air is get heated and the expand and become a lighter. This lighter air in the vicinity of the earth surface start moving up toward the sky, and that means at that time this air is making a lighter, and this air is moved toward the sky. As a result, the air pressure in such areas decreases. At that time air pressure is automatically decreases. That means you understand the temperature and the pressure, these are two phenomena, important phenomena. At that time temperature is increases, at that time the pressure is automatically decreases, and at that time temperature is low, the pressure is high, and because of this reason the pressure in such area is decreases. Then next, observe this figure and give the answer of the following questions. Here given one diagram. Temperature zone and pressure zone belt interrelated to each other, but the latitude extent of temperature zone is such larger while pressure belt are narrower. See figure 4.2. That means here given a temperature zone. That means temperature zone and pressure belt are interrelated. Temperature zone and pressure belt, these are two. Temperature zone and pressure belt is a correlated to each other, and latitude extent, and then next latitudinal extent of temperature zone is much larger while pressure belt is narrow, and at that time the pressure belt is narrow. Here in this diagram, see figure 4.2 and 4.2b. Example, the temperature zone extend from 23 degrees to 30 minutes to 66 degrees to 30 minutes. That means here given temperature zone extend from 23 degrees to 30 degrees 23 degrees to 30 minutes and 66 degree to 30 minutes. Compared to this pressure belt, the limited extent it is generally up to 10 parallel. That means this is a 10 only 10 parallel. The uneven distribution of temperature influenced the distribution of air pressure too. That means they are influenced the air pressure too. This led to formation of low and high pressure belt horizontally between the equator of the pole. That means at that time the low pressure and high pressure belt belts horizontally between the equator and the poles. Observe 4.2 A and B. Answer the following questions. Which pressure belt is mainly found in the tropics? Here given the question, which pressure belt is mainly found in the tropic? Where is the tropic? Which pressure belt? The equatorial low pressure belt is mainly found in the here. The equatorial low pressure belt is mainly found in the tropic. Then second, with the pressure belt are polar winds associated in the temperature zone are they observed? That means next with pressure the polar winds are associated with the polar winds. That means here is a high pressure belts. That means with the high pressure belts associated with high pressure belt. Then next is, what could be the reason behind the low pressure belt in the tropics? What reason behind it? Then reason behind it, the tropic between the tropic of Cancer because in the tropic between the tropic of Cancer and tropic of Capricorn the sun rays can be perpendicular, hence air this region get heated and expand become the lighter. This turn leads to falls in the air pressure. They could be the reason behind it, the low pressure belt in the